So, I've been participating in GDKO and I haven't really been updating you folks on it because time is a killer. And some of these entries don't really warrant a devlog. I say some because this one I want to talk about. In round 3 we were tasked with making a game with no graphics and a focus on narrative. And of course, this is right up my alley. It was time to write another FennecFu special narrative focused game with metaphors, intense dialogue, and hidden meanings. I decided to use Twine as a simple, no-code engine for branching story games. Twine uses a flowchart system for building story games and making choices, and you can customize the look of your game using HTML. And I also added music. If you are interested in making text-based story games, I'd recommend Twine, certainly for something simple to start off with. Although, usually when I write one of these, I already have a strong idea in mind, but writing a story on demand was a challenge, and in a way, I had to look inwards and reflect on my emotions at the time, to figure out what kind of story do I want to write, what kind of message do I want to convey. And I sat in my room, deliberating different concepts. I thought about my life, the environment I was in, and I came up with the idea of teenagers living in a small town and a coming of age story. This idea was barely a seed and too vague to really go anywhere. I needed something to be inspired by, and it was right there, ringing in my ears. I love music. In fact, that's probably an understatement. I live through music. I don't know what happened. I probably watched Anthony Fantano too many times and something snapped in me. But music is one of the things I constantly think about, and while I was in my room, trying to come up with a story, one album was playing on repeat. This is Deaf Consciousness by Have a Nice Life. Released in 2008, this album brought a haunting new sound, encapsulating the genre of doomgaze, with the eerie oil painting cover. This album is a catharsis of emotion, and with this album playing, I felt the emotions pushing me to write a story. From the anxiety and uncertainty displayed in Bloodhail, to the fear echoed in Hunter, this album undergoes a full story arc, but I didn't want my story to end on a dark note, and neither does Deaf Consciousness. There was one track on the album in particular which helped me envisage and cement my story, bringing me what the ending choice should be, and this track was the closer, Deaf Consciousness's ending. The track is called Earthmover. It starts off similarly solemn and melancholic to the rest of the album with its weeping guitars and ghostly vocals, but then this happens. This change up, this rush, is exactly how I wanted my game to end. A climactic conclusion, but also leaving the player wondering what happens next. That's why the final choice was put in. One reflects the exact mood of this bridge, the other reflects on the other half of Earthmover. Okay, so Deaf Consciousness led me to write a storyline for this game, something that reflected the mood and arc of the album. But there's music in this game too. This music doesn't sound like Deaf Consciousness. I didn't go for something inspired by the actual sound of the album, as I felt that this wouldn't fit the dialogue or setting of the game, only its message. The music in this game is inspired by the work of Burial, in particular his Anti-Dawn EP, which came out just this year. Burial makes ambient electronic music. His 2007 release Untrue perfectly captures the feeling of being in the rundown town, and I could have gone down making something similar to that, but Anti-Dawn fits my game better. Anti-Dawn makes you feel like you're travelling through a forest, like an outsider looking in, which is exactly what happens in the game. And so I tried my best to make an ambient track with sound effects and elements directly inspired by those on Anti-Dawn. If you have not played the game yet, don't watch this part until you have, because I'm going to spoil it. Okay? Good. Kat and her friends spend time drinking and partying, but we do not know their ages. Are they in their teens, 20s, 30s? The truth is, no one knows. It's kept ambiguous for a reason. They are above the age of 18, but beyond that, no one knows. No one has a job except Ned, who is a delivery boy, and the hours of his delivery service indicate that he may be a paper boy, which is strange considering he seems to be a bit too old to be doing a paper round. It is also implied he might be a drug dealer, but nothing is confirmed here for sure. When the gang speak, they speak quite strangely, not like young adults and not even like teenagers. When Ned and Ricky tell Kat about their fear of the woods, about how their family said wolves eat people, they sound like young children talking about the boogeyman. Ricky also acts more like a silly preteen when he's drunk, calling the gang rugrats and playing with their hair. When Kat is in the cafe with Peaches, she starts talking about some guy who has been annoying her over text, but she handles it quite immaturely, not communicating to the guy that she's not interested. She then proceeds to talk about Ricky being a nuisance, and Ricky and Peaches certainly do annoy each other and play fight together, although it is clearly implied that they both have a secret crush on each other, and they pretend to dislike each other regardless, similar to how school kids display affection. A misconception is that Kat is depressed about the gang's lifestyle. She's not. She does enjoy going out and getting drunk, but she's getting bored of it. She feels like there's more to life than this, and she feels a physical change happening within herself, pushing her to go and do something else. It's not like she wants to necessarily leave this life behind, but she feels like she has to, as it is the right thing to do. If you haven't figured it out already, the story is a metaphor for the process of growing up. The biggest clue is in the city's name, Rhymeland. Rhyme means never in Gaelic, so the name is actually Netherland, like the place in Peter Pan where no one grows up. The city represents the lifestyle and immaturity of the childhood. The woods represent the adult world. The wolves represent the dangers of being an adult, and the horse, a dark horse, represents the adaptation to adulthood and surviving out in the adult world. If you kill the horse at the end, you choose to stay as a child, forever staying in Rhymeland. If you ride the horse into the woods, you grow up armed with your crossbow, you enter the adult world and you fend for yourself. This message may resonate with older audience who have gone through this transition. The truth is, getting older is not a choice. Everyone gets older, but growing up is. Growing up is a choice, and it's a difficult one to make. There are people who are grown up in their teens because life circumstances had forced them to grow up early. There are people in their 20s, 30s and 40s who still act like children and hold no responsibility. Kat is slowly understanding that she should not remain a child forever. Her friends might, as they want to stay in a lifestyle where everything remains a party but no progress is ever made. Kat finds it hard to grow up, but she does because she knows it's the right thing to do. This story came to me as a reflection of my own mixed emotions at the time. I'm not grown up, I'm still a student and arguably too young to have grown up yet, but I will have to very soon. I'm leaving school soon and going out to work, and the adult world is intimidating. It's scary. It's like a misty forest where nothing can be seen. It'll be comfortable to remain a child forever, but to grow up is to make the choice to thrive, not just survive. Thanks for watching. I'll be releasing videos whenever I can, and I do have a good plan for a video that will be out when the appropriate time arrives, so like and subscribe if you want to see that. Check out my socials in the description to stay up to date, and I'll see you next time.